If you've been feeling off, tired, or overwhelmed by all the health advice out there and just want clarity on how to eat in a way that supports your energy, your mood, and your hormones, this episode is for you. Today, we're breaking down how to build meals that work with your body instead of against it, the way that God designed it. Welcome back to the She Is Well podcast, where we make hormone health simple and practical for busy women. I'm your host, Natalie Trapasso, a registered dietitian who helps women balance their hormones, lose weight, have more energy, ditch painful periods, and feel like themselves again. Today, we're talking about meal planning and meal building, not just what to eat, but how to build your meals for better energy, better periods, better weight loss, and fewer cravings. So this episode will help you to support your hormones in a realistic way. We're going to be talking about the foundations of building hormone balancing meals, meal planning, whether you cycle sync or you don't, and simple practical tips that will make it super easy for you so you can just start implementing this today. I'm going to be giving you meal examples and ideas throughout the whole episode. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to watch all the way through. Let's talk about the foundations of building hormone balancing meals. When it comes to hormone health, how you build your meals matters more than how clean you eat. A protein shake for breakfast and a salad for lunch might sound really healthy, but they tend to not be balanced enough, making your blood sugar spike and crash, which means your energy is going to dip. You're going to be reaching for a coffee or a sweet treat around 2 to 3 p.m. And in the evening, you're not going to be able to control your cravings. So what we want to do is we want to build our meals in a way that keeps our blood sugar stable, that keeps us the fullest for longest, that helps us to manage cravings, gives our body what it needs. We want to be giving our body the right nutrients. So when we talk about building balancing meals, when you do this, it will support your insulin and your cortisol. It'll support your ovulation and progesterone production, which is really important for your fertility and having better periods. It will reduce inflammation, reduce bloating, and it supports weight loss without wrecking your hormones. So it's important to keep your blood sugar stable. A lot of the times, blood sugar imbalances are the root cause of hormone imbalances. So blood sugar spikes and crashes are a stress on your body. It impacts your insulin and your cortisol, which are two key hormones involved in your metabolism. So it could be slowing down your metabolism when you are not supporting these hormones. So it's really important to be building meals and eating in a way to keep your blood sugar stable. That's going to be the key, and that's what we're going to be talking about through this whole episode. And I'm going to tell you right now, unless you're actively trying to keep your blood sugar stable, you're probably not. And it's not your fault. A lot of us aren't taught how to eat right. We're never taught how to build our meals in a way that keeps our blood sugar stable, even though it is one of the most important things. And it's really the first step that I teach my clients when it comes to balancing their hormones, because it's that important first step. And it's also the step that they see the quickest results the fastest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you exactly how to build your meals this way. So how do we build our meals in a way that does all of this? If you can picture a dinner plate, you want to have a quarter of your plate to be protein, a quarter of your plate to be high fiber carbs, and then half of your plate to be non-starchy veggies. And then we want to add some healthy fats in there. So what I teach my clients is to have at least 20 grams of protein per meal. But honestly, the more the better. I try to get at least 30 grams of protein at my meals. Protein is so important for keeping your blood sugar stable. It helps to manage cravings. It helps to boost your metabolism. If you're having a lot of sweet cravings, especially at night, that's a good indication that you are not getting enough protein or just not eating enough during the day. But typically it means that you're not getting enough protein. So at least 20 grams of high quality protein at each meal. And that could be, chicken, turkey, beef, salmon, tuna, eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, protein powders. You can do edamame or tofu if you want more of a plant-based protein. Cheese, beans, nuts, and seeds, they do have some protein, but I typically don't recommend those as your main source of protein at a meal. I like these to add extra protein or to use for a snack protein, but you just need a lot of it to get enough protein. Like, for example, getting 20 grams of protein from chicken is about 3 ounces, where getting 20 grams of protein from peanut butter is like 5 tablespoons. So just like you need a lot of volume of those beans, cheese, nuts, and seeds to get that 20 grams of protein. So they're great to use to add extra protein. Again, 20 grams of protein comes out to about 4 to 6 ounces, the size of your palm, or about a cup of Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. And you can always look at the back of your label. So something like a protein powder, how much of that food is going to give me 20 grams of protein is what you want to be looking for. Carbohydrates, they're our body's preferred source of energy. So we definitely need carbohydrates, and they're really important for hormone balance. Going too low carb for too long can cause hormone imbalances, gut issues. It can decrease your fertility. So we want to definitely eat carbohydrates. We just want to choose higher fiber carbs and always eat carbs with a source of protein. You never want to eat a carbohydrate by itself. This will keep your blood sugar stable and give your body stable energy throughout the day. Our body does really, really well with both the carb and the protein together. So if that's all you take from this episode today, let that be the thing, that you want to have a protein every time you eat a carbohydrate. You want to do the two together. High fiber carbohydrates include sweet potatoes, white potatoes, any whole grain, oatmeal, fruit, corn, peas, some squashes like acorn or butternut, wheat breads, wheat pastas. Beans also do have some carbohydrates in them and can be counted as your high fiber carbohydrate if you want to do that. About a half a cup to 1 cup is a good portion size for your carbohydrates at your meals, or about like 1 to 2 slices of bread, a medium potato or a fruit, or the size of your closed fist is a good portion for carbohydrate. Healthy fats are also very important for hormones. They're literally the building blocks of our hormones. If you don't eat enough healthy fats, your body may struggle to produce enough hormones efficiently, especially during key phases of your cycle like ovulation or in your luteal phase when you need specific hormones. These also help to keep your blood sugar stable, which we've already talked about how important keeping your blood sugar stable is. So healthy fat, you definitely want to include fat. These would include olive oil, olives, avocado, fatty fish, nuts, seeds, nut butters, and even some coconut can be counted as a healthy fat. About 1 to 2 tablespoons is a good serving for healthy fats at each meal. So lastly, we want to have our non-starchy vegetables. These are any other vegetable besides the starchy ones that are counted more as a carbohydrate. So corn, peas, and those squashes that I mentioned, acorn, butternut, those we just count as a carb, but literally any other vegetable is considered non-starchy, and that's what we want to have a half of our plate be. These you can really eat as many as you want. They're so important. They have tons of vitamins and minerals, which are key to building up our hormones. They have fiber in them, which is really important for blood sugar balance and our gut health. So really, whatever way you want to eat vegetables, whatever vegetables you like, just try to get them in, try to increase them. And if you can, increase the variety of vegetables. So if you tend to eat the same vegetables all the time, try to just switch up the variety. Your body does really well with variety. I know it's kind of hard to get vegetables in at breakfast, but at least at lunch and dinner, if you could try to have half of your plate be those non-starchy vegetables, that will be great. So at least try to do 2 meals out of the day. So when we're talking about building meals, some examples of meals that are built like this could be something like, for breakfast, you have an egg scramble with fruit. So maybe you can do 3 eggs to get that 20 grams of protein. You could do 3 eggs with cheese to get that 20 grams of protein. And you can add any vegetables you like, so maybe peppers and onions or spinach and tomatoes. And then you can have a cup of mixed fruit on the side, and that would be your protein, carbs, and veggies. The cheese and the eggs do have some healthy fats in there, or you can even add some oil in whatever pan you cook at for the healthy fat, or even just adding some avocado on the side or on top of your eggs could add that healthy fat in there. So in that meal, we had our protein, carbohydrate, healthy fats, and veggies. Another breakfast could be overnight oats, where you do a half a cup of oats as your high fiber carb. Your protein powder or Greek yogurt could be your protein. 1 to 2 tablespoons of almond butter as some healthy fats and some extra protein, and maybe just topping it off with some almond milk or really whatever milk you like. You even do have some room for some extra carbs in there. Since we only did a half a cup of oats, you can do like a half of a banana or some apples with cinnamon to make it even more flavored. Lunch, we could do grilled chicken and a quinoa salad. So maybe you do 4 to 6 ounces of grilled chicken with mixed greens and arugula and cucumbers for your veggies, and then with a half a cup to 1 cup of quinoa with some olive oil vinaigrette to get all of the components of the hormone balancing meal. Another lunch could be a taco bowl, where you do 4 to 6 ounces of ground turkey for your protein with some taco seasoning, a half a cup of brown rice. And I always love tortilla chips on my tacos, so having some tortilla chips would be also some carbohydrate. And then tomatoes, peppers, and lettuce for your veggies. And you can do some olives or avocado for healthy fat, and then just topping it off with some salsa. Dinner, you could do salmon and broccoli with roasted sweet potatoes, or you can even do a pesto pasta with chicken. So you could do your chicken, which is your protein, pasta, which is your carb. Bonus points if you want to do bean pasta or wheat pastas, I would recommend. And then zucchini for your veggies, and pesto sauce would be your healthy fat. Typically, it's made with like an olive oil. So this is how I build my meals for hormone balance every day. I focus on choosing my quality source of protein first, adding in my high fiber carbohydrate and a healthy fat, and adding in vegetables as much as I can. I don't make it complicated either. I don't make complicated meals. I try to keep it as simple as possible, which allows me to actually do it and actually be consistent with this because I'm busy and I don't really love cooking. I know, despite being a registered dietitian, I don't love cooking. I don't love spending all of my time in the kitchen. So keeping meals simple, like what I just described to you, is a really easy way to just stay on track and do this consistently every single day. One question that I do get asked all of the time is, do I need to eat the carbohydrates? And we already talked about how important carbohydrates are for hormone balance. Going too low carb for too long can really impact your hormones in a negative way. So I say yes, and it's not even just for the fact of hormone balance, but it also keeps you the fullest for longest. It gives you the most stable energy throughout the day. If you were to have just a protein and some vegetables, which is oftentimes a lot of what we gravitate to, especially if we're trying to lose weight, you're not going to stay as full, which means you're going to be craving things later in the day. You're going to be craving carbs, and it's just going to be so much more difficult to stay consistent and to stay on track and to not give into those cravings when you don't have all of the components that your body needs. So I say yes, include the carbohydrate at every meal. Now, I also like to add in and incorporate cycle syncing into my meal planning, into building healthy meals. And that is where you switch up your nutrition and switch up the types of food that you're eating at each of the different phases of your cycle to support your fluctuating hormones. I noticed a huge difference in my period symptoms, like less bloating, less crampings, no hormonal migraines, or PMDD, which is a severe form of PMS. I went to throwing up in pain to barely noticing my periods at all. And I've had 2 people that I've been working with tell me just this week that their first period after implementing this, their period symptoms were so mild, like going from the one before throwing up in pain or severe cramping to barely feeling anything at all, which it definitely works. So that is why I do recommend it. But either way, I build my meals the same way. If the meal is cycle synced or not, I still include the protein, the carbohydrate, the healthy fat, and the veggies because it's so foundational for hormone balance. So if you don't want to cycle sync, even though I think that you should, if you don't, then just make sure that your meals are built the way that we've been discussing throughout this episode. If you do want to cycle sync, I'll break it down and how you can incorporate it into building these meals. In your menstrual phase, which is when you have your period, you want to focus on iron-rich foods and foods high in vitamin C and omega-3s. So that could look like steak fajitas. So you have like 4 to 6 ounces of steak for your iron. You have peppers, which have vitamin C, and onions. And then you do a wheat tortilla for your carb. Or that salmon meal that we talked about you have the salmon with omega-3s, sweet potato, and broccoli. In your follicular phase, which is right after you're done with your period and lasts about 6 to 7 days, it's when your estrogen is rising. So we really want to be supporting that rising estrogen, and you want to be supporting your gut health. So focusing on phytoestrogen-rich foods and fermented foods is great during this phase. So that overnight oats with the apples in it would be really great during this phase. I would use Greek yogurt as my protein so that you can get those probiotic benefits, the fermented food benefits during this time. And the apples have phytoestrogens. It's going to be great for supporting that rising estrogen. During your ovulation phase, which is about halfway through your cycle and lasts 2 to 4 days, you want to start supporting estrogen detox to get rid of excess estrogen. We don't want too much estrogen. In the next phase, the luteal phase, so anything that we don't need, we want to get rid of. So we want to support that estrogen detox, and you also want to be supporting your liver health during this time. So cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts are great to add here. So you can do something like a chicken and broccoli casserole, which would be really great during ovulation. The last phase is the luteal phase, and this is right after ovulation and lasts until you get your next period. It's about 10 to 14 days. In this phase, you want to continue doing the estrogen detox and supporting your progesterone. This phase has the most fun foods, I think. So sweet potatoes, bananas, peanut butter, dates, turkey, dark chocolate are all really great during this time. So maybe a turkey sweet potato bowl with kale or spinach and avocado, or peanut butter and banana overnight oats that uses a chocolate protein powder would be really great during this time. So it's actually really easy to incorporate cycle syncing. Once you just start implementing it, you're never going to want to stop. Something I will say about it is you don't have to cycle sync every meal. Really, any food you can add to support your hormones in that phase will be helping your hormones, like adding in beef on your period or bananas in your luteal phase. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it is giving your hormones the right nutrients at the right times to be supporting your hormones. You also don't have to just eat the foods allowed in the phase in that phase. If you want to eat a banana in your ovulation phase, that's totally fine. It just means try to also eat it in your luteal phase so you can get those extra added benefits when your body needs them. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Definitely don't stress out about it, because stress is wreaks havoc on your hormones and really will defeat the whole purpose. So don't stress out about it. Just start small. Like I said, just even adding one food for each phase is really going to be helpful and can really make a difference. Now, let's talk about easy ways that you can implement this, or easy ways that you can start planning these meals out. Obviously, you always want to have the meal building foundations in the back of your mind whenever you're making a meal. Every time you eat, you should have a protein, a high fiber carb, healthy fat, and then adding in veggies wherever you can. So that should always be at the forefront when you're planning your meals. So you can meal plan. This is really helpful if you're busy and you just don't tend to make the best choices when you have to make a decision last minute like me. Let's be real, if you worked a long day and then you come home and you have no idea what to make or what you're going to eat, what are you going to do? You're going to make a frozen pizza, you're going to get takeout, or maybe you're even not going to eat. I know I've definitely been there. Not the not eating one, because I never skip a meal, but yeah, you gravitate towards those convenience foods, which tend to not be the best for your hormone balance or keeping your blood sugar stable. So have a running list of meals that you like 3 to 4 breakfast options. For cycle syncing, have a few good meals that you like in each of the phases so that you could just go to those whatever phase you're in. I have the foods for each phase of my cycle in my notes app. So when I plan what I'm going to be eating, I'll look at the phase and I'm trying to plan my meals around those foods. And yes, I also have my husband and my baby eat whatever I'm eating in that phase. So you don't have to make yourself extra food or your own separate thing. I just make whatever I'm eating for them too. You can also meal prep. So this is helpful if you're really busy. Now, I don't love taking a whole Sunday and meal prepping. That's not what I'm saying that you have to do. I don't love to do that, but maybe you can batch a few sides like roasted veggies for whatever phase you're in, or roasted sweet potatoes to just have those readily available. And I think prepping the protein is the easiest thing to do. It's easier to build a last minute meal around a protein than it is if you don't have the protein available. Like if you grill a bunch of chicken up or make shredded chicken in a crock pot, you can easily make meals like a chicken salad for lunch and grab a piece of fruit. You have your chicken for your protein, your veggies is like the salad, and then your fruit would be the carb and your dressing would be the fat. So super easy balanced meal that really doesn't take a lot of time. Or you can do a chicken taco bowl for dinner. So you have your chicken with your protein. You can do brown rice and tortilla chips for the healthy carbs, lettuce, tomato, and fresh salsa as your veggies, and then avocado as your healthy fat. You can even do theme nights to just make it easy on you, like Taco Tuesday, but then in each phase of your cycle, you're making the taco a little bit different. So maybe in your menstrual phase, you're using beef for your protein, but in your luteal phase, you're using ground turkey. Something else that is really helpful is if you're already taking time to cook dinner, just make extra, make double, and then you'll have it for lunch the next day, and then you don't have to worry about it. Or just saving it for dinner the next day too. You're already taking the time to cook, so why not just make a little bit extra to save your future self some time? So just to wrap everything up, building your meals in this way, the foundations of building a healthy, balanced meal are going to be supporting your hormones so that you can have more energy, lose more weight, have better periods, increase your fertility, all of the great things that come along with hormone balance, and just be healthier overall, feel like yourself again. You don't have to track every single bite of food that you eat. If you don't want to, you don't have to cycle sync every meal. Just start by building your meals with the protein, the high fiber carbs, the healthy fat, and the veggies. Your hormones will thank you. Because whether you're building a simple smoothie as a meal or cycle syncing your meals, know this, it's not just about food. It's about feeling well enough to live out your purpose, right? And it's about honoring your body because this is what your body needs. This is how God designed our bodies. What our body needs, you want to be honoring your body by giving it what it needs. If this episode helped you, please subscribe on YouTube or leave a review, share it with a friend if you found like it was helpful. Share it with somebody that might need this. Your body wants to feel better. It just needs the tools. And a lot of us aren't taught the tools. Also, if you want a completely done for you meal plan, recipe book, as well as grocery store list and a grocery store tour that walks you through what foods you should be buying and how to build these meals to support your hormones so that you can lose weight, have more energies, have better periods, increase your fertility, check out my course, Metabolism Magic, where I take all of the guesswork out of this for you. I take all the guesswork out of supporting your hormones. I'll link that below for you. But thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have the best day ever. Bye.